The butterfly effect. When a small initial change in a system leads to large, unpredictable consequences over time. We've seen this theory happen throughout the entire history of the NBA. Like in 2008, when Jason Williams was 10 seconds late to a Miami Heat practice, which led to a dispute between Shaq and Pat Riley, resulting in Shaq being traded to the Suns. This caused a ripple effect of trades, ending with the Clippers gifting the Cavs a first-round pick that turned into Kyrie Irving. Or in 2012, where Sixers center Andrew Bynum went bowling and further damaged his already injured knee, forcing him to miss the entire season and the Sixers to tank, resulting in getting a top 3 pick in Joel Embiid a few years later. Then in the bubble, with these back-to-back threes from Mike Muscala, the Thunder jumped the Heat in the standings, and their pick conveyed to the Sixers, which ended up being Tyrese Maxey. And even a year later, when KD was a toe over the three-point line to send the Nets to the conference finals, leading to the Bucks' first championship and the eventual dismantle of one of the greatest big threes ever. But what if I told you that a random game on a Thursday night in March led to one of the biggest league-altering results in NBA history? It all started on Thursday, March 27th, between the 44-28 LA Lakers against the 32-40 Chicago Bulls. Chicago got up to an early double-digit lead, but that was quickly erased towards the start of the second quarter, and after this Gabe Vincent buzzer-beating three, the Lakers entered the locker room up 1. LA kept their foot on the gas and grew their lead all the way up to 18 in the fourth. They reached a 99.2% chance to win the game early in the fourth, and the 9th-seeded Bulls were heading towards picking up yet another loss until Kobe White rallied the troops.
It's faster tonight. Way faster. White, a 3. Gonna need rest, especially in the physicality of the playoffs. Herder hits a 3. The retaliator rather than the guy initiated. White trying to draw the foul. Bulls can make it a single-digit game, and Kobe White trying to do it with a 3.
Give me the hot sauce, Kobe White.
Push it. Giddey to White, open 3, big shot.
Isolation play on either one of those guys. This Roots is wide open.
That's a huge shot.
Somebody came over the last second and held out.
White, Turner, 3. Got it, 22, extending his streak. Vucevic did it on defense and hits a 3.
A 30-14 run from that point on helped Chicago get within 1 point under a minute. But after a bucket from Austin Reeves and an airballed floater from Giddey leading to free throws for the Lakers, a 5-point lead with 12 seconds seemed very bleak. But then Chicago came out of the timeout and found an open 3 after this defensive mishap from LeBron. Then on the inbounds, he turned it over and Giddey finds Kobe White for the lead-taking 3.
Giddey, the steal, White for the lead! Yeah!
Big time plays!
The Bulls are now one stop away from a crazy comeback W, when Austin Reeves once again gets to the rim to take the lead right back. 3 seconds left, down 1 with no timeouts, when Josh Giddey throws up this 47-footer from half court. The Bulls win their 33rd game of the year and arguably the best game winner of the season. And you're probably wondering how this game correlates to lottery odds 2 months later. Well, it's time to see why. After the Dallas Mavericks made one of the most shocking trades in sports history by sending Luka Doncic to Los Angeles for Anthony Davis, they were poised to make a run based off pure defense and the elite offensive ability of Kyrie Irving. But after he went down with a torn ACL exactly 1 month after the big trade, their chances of a playoff run was almost all but dead. They managed to sneak into the play-in tournament, where they lost to the Grizzlies for the 8th seed after taking down the Kings in the first matchup. So entering the draft lottery, there's 2 teams both with 39 wins, the Chicago Bulls and the Dallas Mavericks. They have the same record for the 11th spot in the lottery, thus needing a coin flip, a 50-50 shot at that spot and a 1.8% chance at the number 1 pick. Now, coin flips happen every year for draft position tie breaks. Sometimes they have substantial impacts, but many times they don't. However, this year, after the Mavs won this one against the Bulls, it created one of the most stunning outcomes ever. Now, the way the lottery works is there are 14 ping pong balls numbered 1 through 14. 4 balls are drawn 10 seconds at a time to create a unique combination. There are 1,001 possible 4-ball combinations from those 14. But before any of those balls are drawn, prior to the lottery, 1,000 of those combos are assigned to the 14 participating lottery teams. The worst teams in the league, this year being the Jazz, Wizards, and Hornets, are assigned the most combinations, 140 of them, or 14%, giving them the best odds of winning. And since the Mavs won the coin toss over the Bulls, they were given 18 different combinations, and Chicago received 17 other ones out of those possible 1,000. The balls for the number 1 pick are drawn first, with the first number being a 10. The room filled with team representatives barely move, and wait for the next 10 seconds to pass for the second number. Next, a 14 is drawn, and members begin to flip through papers to try to connect their combinations with the first two already picked. The third number, an 11, and all the way in the back row of 14 front office members, you can see Mavericks assistant GM Matt Riccardi's entire demeanor change as he notices he may be one number away from the biggest lottery shift in NBA history. And the fourth and final ping pong ball, lucky number 7. Each representative scatters to put the 4 numbers together before a league voice in the background yells, "Dallas." The 3 rows of front office members each show different reactions. There's a typical poker face, like the one from Pelicans Executive Vice President and Naismith Hall of Famer Joe Dumars. There's a sense of confusion and shock from Jazz GM Justin Zanuck and Wizards GM Will Dawkins. Then of course, the feeling of relief and joy from Mavs assistant GM Matt Riccardi, as he realized they might have just pulled off the biggest heist in NBA history. Only a few months removed from what people call the worst trade in all of sports, only to be blessed with the first overall pick and one of the best American prospects of all time in Cooper Flagg. They now have their eyes set on their franchise transitioning from Dirk Nowitzki to Luka Doncic to Flagg in less than a decade. And during all of this, it's very fitting that the Chicago Bulls representative, who was congratulating the team that he just lost a 50-50 coin toss to, is the manager of strategy and analytics, the man whose job is to evaluate data and crunch numbers to promote growth within the organization, losing the first overall pick mathematically that goes all the way back to this heroic heave from Josh Giddey 2 months prior. The fans were so excited to finally feel some joy during a rough season, not knowing that it may cost them their immediate future and potentially delay their rebuild. One less win, or a coin flip away, from jumping the Mavericks for the 11th position in the draft, and this 4-number combination to get the player they have been praying for since the start of the season. A system based on luck, having this much of an effect on the future of the league, is what makes the entire concept and this situation so fascinating. Now, of course, we could look back on every single win and say it could have been the opposite, but when something this improbable happens, it's hard not to trace it back and pinpoint the reason the surprise happened the way it did. Just another example of how a small, initial change can lead to unpredictable consequences over time.